Hello, listeners. Welcome back to Trading Brains. I'm your host, Devin Greif, with my co-host here, Angelo Messina.
What's up, guys? How's everything?
Yeah, hope y'all are good. Um, today we're gonna today we're gonna talk about soccer again. There's been some developments in uh, soccer arena, some controversy, but there's always something to talk about because soccer is an ever evolving sport, and there's always new players coming in and old players going out. Legends
Mm-hmm.
being made. So for the most part, Angelo is going to kind of carry us through this episode. But yeah, let's get started. Angelo, what have you
Well,
got for us?
yeah. So like the three topics I want to talk about, all controversial stuff. Like I don't want to go on about news and what's going on today, but it's more the fact that like the 3 points I do want to talk about is VAR, which is video assistant referees, and like if it's helping us or killing the game. Um, the different kind of footballs in the sense of like Italian football, like English or British football or soccer. We want to talk about in American terms, and also the anti-racism campaign in Serie A and how they went about it and why it was used and what happened with it. So
Is Serie A, that's Series A?
yeah, Series A or Serie A is the top flight in uh, the Italian Football League.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep on going back and forth about football or soccer. They are the same thing. It's not football, American football. It's just football or soccer. It's going to be the same thing. So,
Mhm.
listeners, please uh, keep up. But that's I try not to be as confusing, but I'll try to keep it one. So we're gonna say with
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're just clearing the air, making sure that people know that when you say football, you mean soccer. So
exactly. But so we're gonna go with VAR. So and basically, like when you talk about VAR, it's like I in the beginning I thought the concept was a great idea because it was more the fact like, oh, you basically add another referee, kind of regulates because some on the fair moments were kind of like, oh, the ref made a horrible call. Why can't they look back at it? And that's kind of hard to get back at it and be like, oh, let me just rewind 5 seconds ago and be like, let me find it. So it's kind of hard. They didn't have the technology to get that yet.
well, also like their whole job is to not miss anything, right?
Of
Like
course,
that's the whole point of what they're doing.
but
So,
people,
like
but
for
people make
saying,
mistakes. You know what I mean? The
yeah,
referees
yeah,
are
yeah,
humans as
absolutely,
well.
absolutely. But like I, I think like with refereeing, uh, maybe some of them, if they have this new video assisted software, that they'll kind of start to rely on it. Like they won't
Yes.
be as alert and attentive to the
Mm-hmm.
game because they know that they can fall back on that if a problem occurs or something like
Oh, of
that.
course.
And I'm
And
sure you were gonna.
no, yeah, and but like for before you go on, like before we go on with about VAR and about the good and the bad, but the incidents that before that has happened was I'm going to just say two because there's multiple incidents. So one
Mhm.
of them back when Maradona was playing, like one of the best soccer players, one of the best. So you could kind of go back at it, but one of the
What's
best soccer players, huh?
his name again?
Diego Maradona.
Okay, Diego Monotone.
So, so basically, he now yesterday what he created in the World Cup against England was the hand of God.
Mm.
Um, or yeah, it was. So when that happened, it was a ball. The ball was in the air, and he jumped. And the guy's about small, no more than 5'6". I think even shorter than that. He jumped in the air and he pulled his hand in the air as like he lifted his hand up to hit the ball towards the net because he knew he
Hmm.
was not going to get it over the defender who it was taller than him. So
Right.
when that happened, it was it was a goal. The ref never saw it um, during like in real life. So when he just called it a goal, he had it, and that's it. And it was just game. Nothing ever happened again. And it was
Right.
like
Well,
It
because
was
after
like
the game, they
because then
can't.
you
They
watch
can't.
people had watched the game because they televised it.
Right. Yeah.
And they did televise it. The ref was like, "Oh, I made a mistake of with this that call because
Yeah.
it should have been a handball, but you can't
What
go back."
what happens? Like, let's say he did make the call, right? He saw it. He saw the handball. What would have happened?
So
Would they
that
have
will
been
be
pushed
just
back?
the ball will be placed on the spot of the handball. He will
Okay.
get a yellow card, and it will be a free kick for the other team.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that didn't happen. They rewarded him a goal. Now you see people try to use it, but now they have VAR to catch those people. So he could go like, "Oh, people calling handball, handball." The ref like, let's just say, I think he'll go
People
back
trying to use
to the
it like
single, huh?
they're trying to do the hand of God, like they're trying to recreate
Yes.
that play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh.
And when you have VAR, like that will never happen now.
Right. Right. Because even if it's a hard call, they could just look at the video and be like, "Oh, that's a handball." So
Exactly. And then
so
another one, huh?
that's like an argument for VAR.
Yeah, for VAR. And then the other incident that like kind of had like some value, right, as well, was
Mhm.
the playoff match for two European teams against Ireland, Republic of Ireland against France. And they were going out to get into the 2010 World Cup. And France made it, and they first, and it was in stoppage time. What happened was, in the box, the ball was about to go out, and France had the ball, so they wanted to score since they're in the attacking, they're in the enemy in Ireland's box. Ball about to go out. The player Henri was trying to save the ball, keep it in play. He uses his hand to basically kind of like extend his body to keep the ball in play. He kept it in play with his hand using his forearm, passed it, and all the defenders raised their hand up saying it's a handball, handball, handball. Ref didn't see it, plays on. He passed it in the box, and it was a tap in. And big uproar. You see all the Irish players are going to this ref and saying that was a handball. Why you're not calling it? And the ref goes basically, I never saw what handball you're talking about. I didn't see any handball. Final. And there's no VAR, right? So that he can't go back. The referee doesn't have the other referee that they had. They had the two side refs, and they didn't know what they were talking. They couldn't see what handball they were talking about. So you have this referee.
None of the refs saw it, so they can't call it, and like honestly, they have to let it play because they didn't see it. They didn't see it happen.
The ref
So
says plays on, and it plays on. That's it. He can't look back. There's no nothing. There's no safety
right,
net.
and the players can't, they can't convince the ref to change their mind because the ref is supposed to be the ultimate kind of decision maker there.
Exactly. So now VAR has been about 2 to 3 years old now, and it's not perfect, right? It's basically what happens now. It basically gives it another layer of basically instant replay. But the instant replay is basically a ref is hooked up to a mic in a room with another five more refs that's watching the same game as like they're like watching like fans are watching it, but they're acting like referees. So basically, every time they see a ref play going on or incident that's going on, handball, whatever, they talk to the ref after the ref says something. So the ref makes a call, and either they say good, or not. Like, are you sure? Because they don't want to create second thoughts for the head ref that's dictating the match or refereeing the match. But instead, well, if he has a question and be like, "Hey, do you think I got the right call?" They say yes, play on, or they'll like explain why he got the right call. Yeah, it's a call because for handball, he extended his arm, make it an extra part of his body, which it's kind of like when you're trying to make yourself, or he made himself bigger in the sense of trying to get the ball and keep it in play.
That's interesting. I didn't know they had those kind of like support ref teams. Like I guess the head ref has like an earpiece that they're using, or like the mic, and they talk to them. That's interesting too that they don't say like, "Are you sure about that?" To create doubt or
Pretty
whatever.
self doubt. So that referee to be control of the game, because the moment the players see their self doubt, they can try to be like, no, that's a call, that's a call, and that's a call. And you have, let's just say, back the worst case scenarios, you have 11 guys going up to the field and saying to the ref, not up to the field, but up to the ref and saying, hey, you made a bad call, and the bad call should have been this.
Right.
And try to control the match. That's when you know this game is going to be a fight is going to break out.
Right.
And no one wants that. Soccer is supposed to be, or football is supposed to be a gentleman's sport. It's supposed to be fair and whatever, and playing.
Oh, within the rules.
Within the rules, playing to win. So now these two incidents happening. There's other incidents as well, but they try to create this. So before they created this, they created a new one, which is new technology, which is goal line technology. So there was a big incident that it should have been a goal or should not have been a goal, especially with the World Cup with England and Germany. And Gerard sent the shot, like he shot the ball, hit the crossbar, went in, and it popped out. The goalie grabbed it as it popped out, and no goal, no nothing. But the instant replay, like when you watch on TV, like they show you the instant replay of that shot. And it's like, oh my God, that's a goal. How you missed that? But you see it so fast, it's kind of hard. So now the ball has like an implant to tell the referee, saying the moment that ball passes the line fully, it is a goal. And I think that's really good, because that's a matter of fact of someone's winning or someone tied the game up or someone's losing, in the sense of that change. That's really important to have.
Yeah, because a ref, before, without the implant, they would have to depend on the ref's ability to see the ball constantly, looking at the goal.
Before,
with the implant, it's like absolutely 100% fact that they receive a signal
before they added the goal line technology, they added another fourth ref onto that. Like they added two more refs, so they added two more refs on each of the goals, to basically watch the goal.
Right.
So watch that ball crosses or not. And then they created the goal line technology, but they still kept.
But where do those refs stand? The ones who are watching the goal.
Basically on the baselines. So basically when the ball goes out for a goal, corner kick or a goal kick, they stay over there on that line, and they basically watch the net. And their only purpose is to watch the ball go in or not in to make it as a goal.
I mean, there are
other factors as well now.
I'm sure there aren't that many situations where it's not obvious that the ball goes in. A lot of it's like boom, hits the back of the net, like you could tell it's a goal.
Yeah.
But sometimes, you have those hard to call.
Like sometimes the ball is halfway in, not fully, and then that's it.
Yeah, and then like the goalie can smack it out.
Exactly. So that was I think that was really great. My personal opinion, that was really great that when they added goal line technology, that was really great, because that affected the game dramatically, because basically, is it a goal or is it not a goal? And that was a fine definitive of being a goal or not. Now when you have VAR, it's not just for goals. It's not just for handballs. It's for fouls, right? If it's supposed to be a red card or not. Offsides, rule out goals, or basically whatever the ref sees fit that VAR is needed. So now these games with stoppage time, so stoppage time is after the games, like after the half, you have added time, so whoever's lost time. So when the referee goes to the video screen to watch VAR, they add whatever that lost time into it. So now, before on average used to be about 3 minutes, stoppage time or injury time, however you want to call it, instead of being 3 minutes average, now it's about 10 minutes or 7 minutes or 6. It's more than 5 minutes. When before VAR was introduced, it was about 5 minutes was the max you could have got. And like how you could got that is multiple red cards, multiple goals, anything that was stoppage of play that were wasted, substitutions, whatever.
What about like if a ball goes out of play? right? And somebody has to like throw it back in, or
Yeah, but it's like a couple of seconds. So like they do add that, but
yeah,
that the addition of that is like so
minuscule.
not yeah minuscule that won't matter. It's a couple of seconds, so they do keep track of that because the ball
Okay.
will go out a good chunk of times.
And I didn't know this, but from what you're saying, I'm assuming that stoppage time is added after the half, not after the whole game. Because I thought it was
No,
added after the whole
no,
game.
it's each half. So you have the
Right.
first half stoppage time and the second half stoppage time.
Uh-huh.
So now at the second half stoppage time, it goes from maybe 3 to 4 minutes. Let's just say 3 to 5. Now it's from basically from like 5 to 10, and that's now becoming a new average because VAR is becoming a nice safety net for these refs.
Mm.
And I don't blame these refs trying to use it because now they have the technology to be like, oh, I don't know about this. Let me go back. Hey
Yeah.
guys, is this a goal or not?
Do you think the quality of refs has changed?
I think it's not the quality of ref is down because I feel like they're not confident in themselves of
Mm.
because they don't want to make a mistake because when you make a mistake you kind of dictate the whole game. Like you
Right.
could actually
Yeah.
change the whole game because of that one decision.
Right.
I get more. I don't get like VARs here. So it's either I watch soccer because I love soccer, right? So VAR is there to make it. The whole premise of VAR is trying to improve the game, make it more fair, which is
Yeah.
great and all say. But now it's let's just say you have VAR and let's just say it's a clearly handball. You made the back call. You have VAR to look back, right?
Right.
You're not going to use it. That's annoying because if it's like if you're watching your team and that call is against you, or that call was a handball and there was a PK in the box and that was for your team, you're a fan watching it, then you're like, why they're not calling VAR? Why they're not using it? They have it. Why not use it? Then
Right.
it gets annoying. So it's either that you use it. So now it's to the point that it's not perfect because it's a couple of years in.
It's just hard to
Now,
balance. Yeah, it'll
exactly.
get abused. Yeah.
They don't want to abuse it either.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's either that they try to make it VAR just for big essential stuff, like if it's a goal or not because of is it offsides or whatever, or
Right.
not.
Do you think
Or,
what is it? I just lost my train of thought.
but it's more in the fact I feel like VAR should be changed more, not change, but adapt into a situation of only if needed. Like,
Right.
and then when I say only if needed, it's always going to be needed for something if a ref made a bad call.
But isn't that up to the ref? Like they make the decision whether or not
Yes,
it's needed.
they
So,
will. They
yeah.
can make a decision saying, "Hey, I need help or not," but it shouldn't be like so. Like right now, like I have an article up. It's like VARs only it can intervene on red cards, penalty goals, or mistaken identities. So with the mistaken identities, that's all open for misinterpretations.
Right. I was gonna say like when you said mistaken identity, I just thought like some random dude like took the place of some soccer player.
No, that's
Like who is this guy? We don't know him.
so like the problem with this. It's let's just say so like right now like people are going to be like using like okay you have VAR in the World Cup which is going to be coming in 2022 and let's just say a team it's basically has a penalty it was bad and the ref didn't call it and the last couple of minutes for the World Cup final let's just say someone gets like Messi gets fouled in the final which if it happens good for him but if it doesn't whatever but make the argument point to say if
Yeah.
last couple minutes, Messi's dribbling, someone takes him down. Let's just say the ref does not call it. He has VAR as backup and doesn't even use it. That's right there. It's going to be a huge change because now you have the technology to look at that incident because that is a game make it or break it situation because a team will have a World Cup under the belt
Yeah. Or they
or
won't.
or they won't.
Yeah.
So I feel that's why having the safety, like if you had the safety net, you have to use it. So it's either that now, basically, the whole point at the end of the conversation about VAR.
I'm sure even the refs want to use it in that situation.
Yeah,
like they don't want to.
Sometimes they stick to their guns because they are actually the head person to be like, okay, that is the decision.
Mm-hmm.
But if the ref use it, or the ref has a safety net now. So now it's basically, are they going to use it? They have to use it more properly. If you're going to use it correctly and use it for every incident that could be right or wrong. Because if you have it and you don't use it, there's no point of having it. Let's just throw it to the garbage and that's it.
Right. Yeah. So with the
and go back to human error, because people were a lot simpler of basically saying, I feel like you get less mad about, hey, he made the wrong call. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. 2 letters, whatever, done. We don't have to worry about it anymore. He already made the mistake. The player's on. Now play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have use VAR, and it's going to disrupt the flow of game. So me, from talking about this, I think VAR is basically disrupting the whole flow of game, and not being like petty or whatever. If it's go against for your team, of course you would not like VAR as well.
Right. It's meant to be a safety valve, and it's hard.
The overall premise, it's good, but it has to improve in the future, which hopefully it will, because now a lot of the top leagues in Europe, MLS, World Cup, and they're all trying to adopt it. So overall, is only should get better.
Right. Well, it's like it's happening. It's happening regardless.
So
they need to
they write it, and they write it until it fails, or they write it and then becomes better for the sport.
Is is it a problem that the stoppage time is increased by VAR? Like, say, you watch on TV, you watch a game, and the game is usually an hour, but then because of VAR, now stoppage time is increased and it goes like hour 10 minutes. What do the networks do, or like it doesn't matter to them?
Now the game will be adjusted to like an hour and a half, because they had the post commentary, the after match interviews, the halftime as well. So they try to adjust it as it is.
Okay.
And it's like
sorry, go ahead.
All right, you got 45, you have the hour and a half plus 15 of halftime, and then whatever the interviews after. It comes out to like 2.5 hours with every single thing, because you have to add commercials. So they block out a good chunk of time. So now the chunk of time of that commercials could be shorter because of that. But that's to the TV rights or whoever has the rights of that with the commercials. But that's all up in the air as well. But you can't expect that with VAR now. With VAR, you can.
It's true.
I mean, you can't put on commercials now because of VAR. No.
Right.
You already signed the agreement. That's.
I have one more thing.
Okay.
Yeah. The referees, how soon after a game do they have to present to a review board and say, like, hey, here's why I made these calls?
So this is actually pretty cool. I took a referee course, for the first, just the referee kids, like U9s games, and a top flight ref for the MLS came and actually taught the class for 1 week, and I was really interested. And he basically said that after a match that he refereed, either he was head ref or the assistant ref, after the game, legitimately within the hour and a half, he had to report every single thing. Right, yellow cards, red cards, who scored, who got the assist, and the calls that he made, how many fouls, blah, blah, blah. And then after that, they look at it, he goes in, he talks to the referee board, and then he talks. And sometimes it depends on how bad it is. It'll be like, hey, what's in this play? And they show the play again. They're like, why you made this call? and see your
how do you defend
your interpretation
Yeah.
about your call that you made in that incident. And if you see
So
it wrong,
the review
how
board
would you
looks
fix
at
it?
video?
Huh?
The review board looks at video footage?
Yeah.
Okay.
And as well as
Yeah, I
see
mean,
what's going on. So it was pretty interesting.
cool.
Huh?
Yeah, no, thanks for answering the question. It is pretty cool that they have, they do it really soon after.
Yeah,
That way it's fresh.
it's so fresh in your mind, so that's why. But like going on with the next topic that we're going to talk about. So I'm a big Serie A fan, which is like Italian football, and it's hard to watch it in America because I have to watch it on a streaming service or watch it on Rai. So, or like the ESPN Plus is nice, but I have to pay the subscription. It's not just on NBC and it's free. I can watch whatever soccer game of the Premier League, which is the British soccer league that they have.
Mm.
So, and you have your Premier fans that like it's great, it's better, and I'm not trying to go which league is better, which I am very biased, so I'm going to say Serie A, but that's not the argument I'm trying to make. It's the British league is so smart on capitalizing the American market because soccer is growing in America. They speak English, and other countries they don't speak English as well as the British do. It's kind of weird. It's kind of easy for them to kind of like understand the language because it's so similar. Besides the little adjustments that they have, like the little stuff they call football or soccer, but that's you know what I mean, like
dialect.
It's dialect.
Yeah.
While you have a talent, like you have to understand like the whole thing. Like for soccer and Italian, it's cultural. While soccer or football or soccer. Or there's a couple other ones like for Italian goalkeepers, goalies, is portiere. So portiere, like you don't like when someone's like, oh, the portiere made a save. It's like, wait, what? Is that the last name? No.
Right.
Oh, and the Bears like, oh, the goalie made a great save, and then you see it like, oh, that makes sense. He's the goalkeeper. So the lingo is kind of the same. It's very similar than other languages because you have to understand the language to understand what they're talking about.
I mean, there's already that huge wall, like that language barrier, for Serie A to try to convince people to watch them instead of the English Premier.
Yeah, so basically, like, you have to have the commentators in English to understand what they're saying. So, like, kind of like the player, like, there's one role in Italy they call the regista, which is like the director, kind of like the guy who is a playmaker in a sense. But regista, no one understands that, so they have to say, "Oh, the playmaker or the director of the field, he is that guy, and number 18, and number 10, and he controls the whole game. Every ball goes through to him." Well, they could say, "Oh, look at the fantastic playmaker," and that's it. And everyone understands. They understood what the commentator is saying, and they go on. They don't have to look up or look on Google. Hey Siri, what does this mean?
Yeah.
Or whatever stuff that they have, or the Google or the Alexa thing as well. So, and then nothing against the British League. It's very fast paced. It's very good. While Italian is very tactical, a little bit slower, but it's more strategic than in the Prem.
So do you mean the commentators or
like just more in the fact of like you're not trying to dumb down the British. It's a different style of play, which it does help for the Americans, more Americans. I'm also American, but non-soccer fans to catch their eye when they're flicking through the channel. They see soccer. Okay, they're watching the Prem. It's very fast paced.
Right.
While Italian, if you win 1-0, if you watch the whole game, some people can see it. Oh, this is boring because it's 1-0.
Yeah. They feel like nobody's getting points and like it's just going back and forth and all
And
that.
it's
Yeah.
done. But then you also see you watch as a 1-0 game. That 1-0, they got that one goal and they defended really well to have that one to get that shutout.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
you see it differently. But basically, I feel like, and also like Italians are very prideful that they don't want to go into different kind of markets because they want to keep their integrity. They don't want to change certain stuff. But
Okay.
now they start seeing the British as being so successful outside. Now they're trying to play catch up.
Right. So they're trying to convince Americans or even other people to watch Italian soccer. Are they doing anything in English or like?
So like
No.
ESPN Plus, you can watch Italian games and the commentaries is in English. So
Really?
that's a great way to do it. But you also now instead of being free on like NBC, you have to pay for ESPN Plus.
Right. Yeah.
So if people don't have the $50 that they're willing to spend, they won't spend the $50.
Have you watched it on ESPN Plus?
On ESPN Plus, I watch it all the time because it's better quality than the Italian channel that I have as well.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I can watch any game instead of watching like whatever they're showing on that game.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's kind of like, well, it's streaming, really.
Yeah. You're streaming the game that you want to watch.
The commentators themselves, are they Italian or are they not always
Italian American, or they'll be American based. They don't have to speak Italian. They'll be speaking in English.
Right. Yeah.
But also other stuff that like Serie A has a problem with as well is like instead of being on the TV, like instead of being like the TV language or the languages, it's more other things. Like sometimes like in Italy, when the lower teams are playing and they're watching it, you see not empty stadiums, you'll see empty seats or outdated stadiums. Well, the TV rights that they get in the Premier League, because they have so many people now more watching the Premier League, now all these teams, whoever in the top flight, gets more money, so they're investing into new stadiums or make it basically cheaper for the fans because they're getting their money elsewhere. They're making these stadiums look packed, and everyone's sitting down. You see all basically 90% of these fans cheering, and you're like, "Oh my god, I want to be there." And you're watching this game, and you watch like the play, and the fans are all there. You don't like seeing a game, and it's all empty seats. Like you don't want to see that. You want to make it look like it's exciting as you're watching the TV
Right.
that's playing.
Yeah. So do they like produce fake people on TV?
No, not fake people on TV. It's they show it how it is. It's not like they pay actors to sit down and watch the game. They basically no one comes. Okay, they're still watching the game because you still have the record. Like you still set that time to record that game or to live stream it. So that is the big problem with that. Like they don't have enough money into it because they don't have as much TV rights like the Premier League does.
Okay.
And it's like for the top, like so each of the both leagues has about 20 teams. So they all have the Premier League has a lot more TV rights than the teams in Serie A. I'm not just saying like people who are in the 20th place in Prem and the number one team in Serie A are equal. No, it just the top team will get a lot more money, but the range is different. There's a vastly different than in Serie A rather than the Prem, because there's not as much TV rights going out, so you only go watch a certain amount of games for whatever game it is.
And like you aren't able to watch as many games for the teams that don't have a lot of funding.
So
right?
now they have to think about getting money elsewhere, and then
elsewhere
is their home games. Home games, the fans have to pay. Okay, who's coming? Who's willing to pay the top dollar for the first row? And they're willing.
Right.
Um, but that's really like I like to keep it short and sweet. But it's kind of hard for Italian soccer to get big in America because of the language mostly. But if they have English commentators, that if let's just say ESPN, if it does so well on ESPN Plus, and ESPN adopts it into their market, into their channel, and you can watch it at the time that when they do play in America, I think that would be a big hit and it would be more introduction into America as well as
Yeah. The key thing is to make it accessible, right? So
yeah,
like if you make it cheaper for people to watch it, then you'll obviously get more people.
and it will be more. It will increase the TV rights for that for the league, so there's going to be more money for each team to get, and then it will hopefully decrease the the ticket prices for fans to go watch it as well, because now they're getting money into their revenue, or they want to be greedy, they'll still keep the same, so they're getting more money. But
Yeah.
hopefully that's not the case.
I mean, whatever they think is possible, because there's always going to be a supply and demand for tickets.
Oh
Like
no, of course.
they're going to decide
Big
like
games,
a
no,
little
big
bit too
games,
much.
yes. But like you have big derbies like Inter Milan against AC Milan, that's always jam packed. So you see
Right.
80,000 people in an 80,000 stadium.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like what looks nice there, you have 40,000 people in a 40,000 stadium, or 40,000 people in the 80,000 stadium.
Mm.
Like you see half of the seats being empty, or you see
Empty.
every seats being full. Like
Yeah.
it looks nicer.
For sure. I mean, it's more exciting if you have
Yes.
all the seats filled.
But so like talking about Serie A, I want to go to my third topics about it, and it's kind of like how so racism is a big thing, and a big no, like say no to racism 100%. Because everyone's equal and everyone's. So when I want to go at this was so the Serie A,
Especially,
huh?
sorry to cut you off. Especially in sports, sports is the
Yeah.
great equalizer in terms of race.
Everyone's role model. The people look up to every single players, whoever they are. So they want to attack. They want to attack on this issue, which is the big thing. So the Serie A league, they want to attack. They want to make an anti-racism campaign in Italy because it's such a big thing.
Right.
So they hired a group of team to make an artist, and so the league chief like announced this, saying like, and his name is Luigi Del Cirio. So he basically said like, hey, this is our new campaign, no to racism, and they had three monkeys, top to bottom or left to right, with different face paint and different facial expressions, different facial faces to represent different kind of monkeys. So you had the
Like their facial
Western,
structure.
Asian, and African monkey, and
Mm.
they had different color paint. You could look this on online. You can look at the anti racism campaign of in Serie A, and you look at it and what I'm talking about. And basically got a big uproar because they used the term monkey as a bad word, not a bad word, but more in the fact of a bad way of saying it for the African American players that are playing in the game. And they shouldn't be using, I think the idea was there, but the wrong way of going at it. Um, and so the artist was like, hey, my idea was, and like people, like the artists were basically saying, hey, we are all monkeys. He defended his work because that was his work, so it was his baby, which I don't blame the guy trying to defend it, but also you trying to go at this at the wrong way. The idea was there of attacking anti-racism as a whole, but don't make something that people have been using against them.
Mm.
So people are going like, and then you see teens are basically saying like, "Hey, um, why are you doing that? Like, we are all equal," and like, which they're fine of saying that, which because we are. But when you had these people going against each other, and the flaw was like instead of being like what they could have done, just had three humans right next to each other, and like being like hugging, supportive of each other because they love the game, not because of the race. That could have
Right.
been better. So like the flaw of the artist was like thinking of monkeys could have been a good metaphor than just drawing three human beings.
Yeah.
But
I think it's just poor use of imagery. And the artist could defend, his or her idea, but it doesn't matter what their idea was when they look at it. It matters what the general public sees,
exactly.
and
So
it's not good.
no, of course, and 100%. So the next thing was that now they're trying to make it more enforced in these stadiums. So if the fan base makes a racial verbiage or outroar on a certain player, there are going to be consequences on the team. So certain as could be severe as stoppage of play or stoppage of the game, which I haven't seen happen. But they could have been a pause of the game. They had paused the game before
Okay.
to get the group of people, whoever had done it.
Deal
Out.
with
But it's
the
kind of
people.
hard to pinpoint on one person, right?
Yeah.
Or you basically for next game you finish it, and understand what they are doing. That they kind of like give them a ban. It's like, okay, you have closed doors, so no one can watch the game in the stadium. So the stadiums are empty, like completely
Mm.
empty, but the game is playing. But you kind of lose. You basically your fine is future money you can't get now because no one
Yeah.
buy it.
Yeah. Nobody's watching it. Nobody bought tickets.
So now they're trying to attack it at financial because the teams were like, okay, now we're losing money because our fan base are racist, and then they're kind
So
of
that encourages the teams to tell the fans, like, "Hey, stop being racist."
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which all these players are playing because they love the game. They are good enough to show their skills out, and all these people are role models. They
Yeah.
should not get made fun of or name called because of the color of the skin. That should not be an issue at all.
Mm.
They should attack it more on if they're good or if they're bad, and that's it.
Right. Well, it's interesting that the onus is on the team rather than like punishing fans, right?
Well,
Because I
they
thought
could get
like,
the
maybe
fans
there would
banned
be
for
with
life,
like
but like it's hard to find out one fan.
yeah.
It has to be
Like
a
if one
group of them.
fan, well, what if like a fan, keeps saying these racial slurs and these racial remarks, um, and they like keep doing it at like every game that they go to see? Do they get banned from the stadium? Do they get banned from watching games?
They could
No.
get banned from a stadium and they basically have to watch it at home,
Right. Yeah.
and that's it.
Right.
Or they get fined, or which another idea could be a good idea is basically kind of like not lucrative, but in the sense of hiring a group of people and kind of very just put them throughout the whole stadium. So
Mhm.
basically paying like every up, let's just say there's 10 rows and there's 100 seat, let's just say 10 by 10, and you put one on the first row, one on the top row, one in the middle, and then one on the first column and one on the right column. So you basically have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and kind of have it split. So each you could kind of pinpoint or triangulate where the racial slurs are coming from, and you could pinpoint certain people, and that to the point that you banning certain people, but it's either that you ban, and if they're influential to other people, they take basically like, oh, we're not watching, we're going to a bar instead, and then not enough people are going to this fan base, which
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
think so, because then what could happen is they lower the prices, and then more other people are coming. So now you're making it cheaper for everyone watching it.
Right. Yeah.
So instead of paying like let's just say $10, now they have to lower it down to $5. Now more people are going to come because now it's $5.
Yeah, that's pretty easy to. That's very accessible. $5. Like that's not even. That's like less than lunch. So
But that's what I'm saying. Like it should be that, and then when they're in the stadium, you make more money on the commission, on the food and drinks. So, and I know certain places you can't drink, at certain stadiums you can't drink, or they stop serving alcohol at a certain time or whatever. But that's when you could get more money into it, into
Right.
the stadiums of when they're in, they pay to get in, because now they're bringing their whole family, they're bringing the kids, they're bringing, should be a nice, joyful experience instead of being like a hate thing and interrupting the game. They should watch the game. It's a beautiful
Being a
game.
hateful act.
Watch it. You're paid good. You're paying really good money for it. Have fun. If something bad happens, oh, you suck. That's it. And that's it. Because they made a bad play. There's no more than that.
Right,
But
right.
overall, I do want to just talk about the concept of say no to racism is great. I think it has to go into a different approach instead of using monkeys.
Different execution.
Use human beings, and like I said, with the kind of like the idea of that could be implemented, but it won't, because it could be like, okay, now all these people are having jobs, like hiring actors in a sense, or spies,
Right. Yeah.
in the stadium, or crowd control. I want to call that.
Yeah. It's like crowd control. I mean, if what these people are saying and yelling out and whatever, like it's disruptive, like disrupting the game, then obviously they should be removed from the area. But having those spies, it's like that's also something like if fans knew that they were being watched by other people, I feel like they may be less comfortable at the game.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that's what I think.
Well,
but that's what I have left on the topics I do want to talk about that. So,
okay.
Thank you for letting me talk about soccer. For the topic,
You got it, man.
It's great. I love soccer. It's a passion of mine. It's very, very rewarding watching like these games, watching these players, and watching how soccer is growing from America.
Yeah, and I know you can go on and on and on about it, which is great. It gives us something to talk about. And I'm always learning new things. Every single soccer episode we've done, I've been asking you questions. Going back and forth, and be like, "Oh, I didn't know how that worked."
An hour, yeah. It's fantastic. It's just like how to see. And if there's other topics you guys want me to talk about, I'm more than welcome to hit it next time we talk about soccer. As well as anything.
Yeah, comment on the video, send us an email with content
or tell us
suggestions.
your views as well on your point of views on the 3 topics that we did talk about.
So email it to tradingbrainspodcast@gmail.com. Very simple.
Comment on these podcasts and on Twitter, Apple, Google Play, YouTube, Twitcher as well. Stitcher. Oh, Twitcher. Huh.
You make Twitter.
It should be combined. Stitcher. Sorry.
It's all good. I know it's late over there. So.
Yeah. But yeah. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next week.
Thanks again, listeners. Take care, everyone.
Peace.